You're tuned in to Ask the Master Auto Technician. Car questions? Get answers right now. Call 850-763-0555.
James Auto Center, we fix it right, guaranteed. Beep, 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 yeah!
All right, good morning, everybody. This is Friday morning's edition. I got Hanson Hindenburg calling all the way from Baytown Tires, right on the curve in St. Andrews. If you need tires, you need car maintenance, and you're in that area, give him a call at 873-8900. Good morning, Hanson. What's going on this morning?
Oh, lots of good stuff. Staying busy, you know, it's the summertime.
Oh,
people are traveling, going back to school. Telling the other day, some of our customers, we're seeing people more and more from out of town every day. Surprises me, which is good.
It is. It's good. I'm glad we're having a lot of people come to Bay County, but this is our, well, it's the last time. Summer's just about over. School starts, next month? I don't know when exactly, but sometime in August school starts, and right now people are getting in their summer vacations before they have kids go back to school. And a lot of people do a lot of traveling this year. I think summer's a lot of traveling, but we got the holidays coming up, and that's where people really travel, especially Thanksgiving.
Gas prices are still low,
yes.
And I guess word has gotten out that Panama City Beach is a little bit more controlled now than it was before.
You know, there's advantages and disadvantages to it, but I am glad to see people coming here, and I'm glad to see things are a little bit more under control. It does get a little scary when you hear when people are out there and they're constantly complaining about the ambulances and the sirens during spring break. And well, this year I don't think we had much complaints about that with the ambulances and stuff. So maybe this year was a good test to say it's going to be better next year, and every year after we'll get even more and more better. But I want to kind of skip subject here. Yesterday we bought some tires from you, and they were relatively inexpensive. And they were big tires. I don't even know the name of the brand of them, but it was, you know, the tires were less than $100 a piece, and I was like, wow, that's pretty impressive for this size tire. What do you remember the name brand tire we bought from you yesterday?
It's called Iron Man.
Iron Man, yes, that's what it has to do with the beach. We have the Iron Man Triathlon that comes here every twice. Well, that's coming in the fall. But that caught my attention that these tires seem to be a tough tire, very inexpensive, relatively speaking, and I've never heard of the brand. Who are they made by?
Well, that particular tire is made by Cooper in one of the Cooper factories.
Okay.
Our company owns the name Iron Man and the mold that, you know, makes it, but the other, you know, manufacturing companies manufacture it for us.
Oh. Well, it looked like a pretty good tire. Felt like a good soft rubber compound. Felt like it may have good traction. I don't know much about that tire, but it's going on a work truck on the back of a dually, and I think it'll probably be a very good tire for them. But I was very impressed that the price of the tire wasn't that expensive, and it looked like a good quality tire. And it even looked like an LT tire. I didn't even know if it was an LT tire.
Yeah, it was a load range E,
yeah,
so
wow,
it has
okay.
all of the attributes of, you know, a more expensive tire.
Yeah, it did.
The tires are excellent quality now because, you know, they are made by the biggest tire distributor in the United States, so they don't want to have any trouble. So they actually test the tires more so than some other companies do because they want to make sure that tire holds up when it goes out there into the road.
Okay. Now, you say Cooper Tire is the largest manufacturer of tires in the United States?
No.
Oh.
The distributor that we are part of, that American Tire Company, which is ATD.
Okay.
We are part of ATD, which owns the Tire Pros franchise.
Okay.
And what they did about 2 years ago, they purchased Hercules tires. And Hercules Tires also owns the Iron Man labels. So you know, we have tons and tons of tires that are made there specifically for us.
Well, and that's a good part because it's an LT tire. Normally, LT tires, when I purchase them, cost me over $100. We're talking almost $200 normally a tire. And I looked at that and I said, that can't be right. I said, these can't be that inexpensive. But
what they do is they buy, and when I say a million, I literally mean a million of them, and they, you know, give us, since we are directly linked to the manufacturer and the distributor, a good price, and we try to pass that on to the customer.
Yeah.
So you're getting a good tire at a very reasonable price.
Very reasonable price. Matter of fact, with that type pricing on a car, tires, you could put you could put 6 tires in this truck for probably just, less than $1,500, installed parts, labor, and everything, which is almost unheard of on a dually to put that type tire on there. Normally, they're more expensive than that, especially if you're putting a LT tire on there. And that really impressed me. It's almost like prices of tires have gotten cheaper in the last year or so.
Well, they have. We went through in '08 where the bottom dropped out on everything, and raw material prices went through the roof. And it really drove the prices up, and all the tire manufacturers thought that the world was going to come to an end. And then they stopped manufacturing tires on top of that, so you had high material costs and less production, and some of the tires went up as much as $50, $60 in a year for one single tire.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. And these LT tires are one of them I'm talking about, because it used to be that same tire that we bought for around $100 cost me before, I want to say $150, $175, and I may be wrong, but I want to say it was a price increase once upon a time compared to what it is now. I'm going, man, these tires have actually dropped in price.
You talk about more. What's also helped over the last year or two is a more sluggish economy in Europe and in Asia, which so these guys are manufacturing tires. Even Michelin, which most of the tires that we sold here in the United States were manufactured in the United States by Michelin. Now, because of the sluggish economy in Europe, they're manufacturing some of the tires that are sold in the United States in France and Germany and sending them over here. So, again, the manufacturing capacity is out there, and there's just less demand in the United States. You can say the economy is good or bad, but we are consuming more tires, so it's driving the prices down because there's just more availability. The supply and demand is what drives the pricing.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. That's the thing, supply and demand. A lot of people don't realize, let the free market work and it'll make things a lot better. But too many people we don't want to go there, try to get involved in it.
And on top of that, not only does it change the price, but the quality.
Yes.
Too. I mean, if the next guy to you in a free market economy is producing an excellent tire, you better make a good tire, too, for the same price. And it brings the entire industry standard up.
It's the same in any industry, whether it's tires or building houses or working on cars. Whatever the industry may be, let the free market decide, because what ends up happening is a lot of times we get, you may not remember, but they froze prices on years back in the 70s, and you couldn't raise prices. It was kind of like you couldn't raise anything, and people didn't like that. It actually slowed the economy down. It actually did just the opposite of what they were trying to do. And if you let the free market work like it's supposed to work, it usually takes care of itself without government intervention and without people getting involved in it. It just let the people buy the product they want to buy. And that's just the way how things work, even in tires, car repair, housing. I mean, that's one of the reasons houses cost so much, I believe, is because people get involved in regulating and over-regulating and making impact fees and sticking things on there. The next thing you know, a house that costs $100,000 now is $130,000. Just kind of rounding things off to numbers, but I wish I could find a house for $100,000 out there.
It creates jobs too, and I'm familiar with the tire industry in most cases.
Right.
You have Japanese, Chinese, Taiwanese tire manufacturers opening up huge plants in the United States to manufacture tires.
Why are they doing that? Why are they coming here to the United States? Is it not cheaper to manufacture?
Well, it is and it isn't. I mean, currency trade. The third world order, as you would like to call it, probably.
The new world order.
The new world order, the third world order.
Yeah, whatever.
The new world order, currency, it drives how much the product costs.
Yes.
So, being that the Chinese government, their currency is higher than the dollar sometimes, and vice versa, or putting tariffs on there. If you're in the country that consumes the product, a lot of times it's easier, quicker to manufacture that product and bring it to market.
Wow.
That's what's important to the manufacturer.
Well, you know, yeah, that is important. That way you don't have to pay the tariffs, the taxes, and all the import fees that come with it, I guess. So, you know, we really don't have free trade out there, I guess.
No, and that's part of the problem, I think. If we had a little bit, and I think NAFTA's hurt us because we pushed a lot of our manufacturing further down south in the continent.
Just think about Hershey's Kisses. You know, they don't make in Hershey's, Pennsylvania. They are moving their plant to Mexico. You know, all because of, well, NAFTA is one reason. In what was it, North Carolina? All the textile mills have moved to Mexico. That giant sucking sound that Ross Perot warned us about back in 91, 92, that sucking sound is still taking place. A lot of jobs are leaving. But you say a lot of jobs are coming to America and from other countries because, like tires, because they're not selling them overseas, but we're buying them here because, well, America does a lot of driving. Is that what you're saying is happening?
Right, and you know, we are in direct competition with China. Mm-hmm. China is the largest automotive market in the world.
Wow.
But we are, you know, we slid to number 2, but we're still a steady market. And per capita, we have more cars than anyone in the world.
We have more cars anyway. Yeah, we have. There's over 300 million people in America, and I want to say there's more cars than that, and that includes the ones stuck up on blocks and in people's backyards. But still, registered cars in the United States is what I want to say is over 300 million cars that are registered in the United States, cars and trucks. That's a lot of cars. That's one car for every person, just about, and that includes man, woman, and child. But there's a lot of cars out there, and every car needs tires at least every 5 years, it seems like. People get a set of tires, and it gets rather expensive when you have to buy tires, especially with those tire pressure monitoring systems. It seems like they last about 4 to 7 years, and then when I tell a customer, ma'am, you're not going to like this, but it's going to be another $700 to put these 4 sensors on, they say, I'll just rather check my air pressure, my tires. They just can't afford to pay that $700 or $800 more. I don't know if you've seen that.
You know, and we see that a lot too, and some people just after driving around for a while, because some of them will actually, the car will chime when you first crank it up, letting you know that the light is on, get tired of it, and wind up fixing it. You know?
It is rather irritating when that chime goes off, kind of like your seatbelt chime. You know you got to put it on, and dadgummit, I make them put the seatbelt on. Well, it's the same thing on that tire pressure monitoring system. If it chimes every time you start it up, it gets rather annoying after a while, and people, well, like you said, they may eventually save the money up and do it, but when you do it after you put the tires on, it always costs more.
Well, and plus the safety factor, too, because we have a customer that had a sensor problem. She knew she had a sensor problem. She got out, looked at the car tires. They looked okay to her. She headed on down the road, and she was dangerously low. She ended up completely severing the tire because the wheel, she was flat.
Yeah, she cut the rim. The rim cut the tread off the tire.
And I agree with Anna Marie, is that, some people get used to the sensors working, and then they don't, and then they forget about it, when and then you wind up having the problem that she's talking about. So they say, well, I'm going to go check them, but then unfortunately they don't.
Yeah, and I was talking to driver's education class this week at Rutherford, and they said, and I asked how often they should check their oil and how often they should check their air, and I said, while you're a learning driver, my advice to you is to be safe, trying to learn everything. My advice is every Saturday morning, go check your oil in your tires, oil in your engine, and check your air in your tires, and walk around the car and check your lights and your brake lights and your headlights and your tail lights. It'll save you money in the long run, and you may not get stopped by the police, and people can see you when you stop and when you're turning. And use your turn signals, which no one ever does. In this town. Hopefully this driver's education will help people learn how to use their turn signals in Bay County, which I think is an optional equipment on a lot of today's cars, turn signals. It seems like it is.
Well, you did a driver's ed class this week. I saw that.
Yes.
What was the most common question that some of the kids asked you?
The most common question is, how much does it cost to maintain a car?
Oh, gosh.
And when I told them that, it was kind of like, you mean it costs that much money a year? And go, yeah. And I said, my advice to you is put $100 a month into a car savings account to maintain your car. And they looked at me like, that's a lot of money. And I go, well, that's $25 a week. And that's just for maintenance on your car. If you do that every month, At the end of a year, you'll have enough money to take care of all your maintenance and then continue just keep it up. And that's what it's going to take care of a car. I think Consumers Report says it takes around $1,400 a year on average to take care of a car. Some more, some less. What is your viewpoint on that? How much?
I think that's right. That I looked at a list this week where they had the top 10 most expensive cars over 10 years.
Yeah.
And like you said, they range anywhere from about $800 to about $1,700 a year over the 10-year period.
Right.
And I'm not picking on Chrysler, but the Chrysler Sebring was the most expensive car to maintain.
With the 2.7 V6 engine, right?
It was over 10 years, almost $18,000.
Well, that had to do because they were rental cars, and the rental car companies didn't change the oil like they were supposed to. Then they put them back out on the market. That's one of the reasons, but we're not going to sit there. But they're very sensitive to oil. Hanson, we gone way too long. We got to get off. Thank you so much for talking. We'll talk to you next Friday morning as well. Thank you again. Talk to y'all
Have
next.
a great week.
Right.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, everybody.
James Auto Center, we fix it right.